Welcome to She Gets It Done, the podcast for dog owners who need straight to the point, honest dog training advice. With your hosts, Sana and Tony, let's get into it.
Welcome back to She Gets It Done. I'm Tony and this is Sana. Today we're going to go over some Reddit posts and have a discussion on them. So the first one today is, I shot my dog after it bit my niece.
Oh, that's a great entrance.
Yes. Okay, so the story goes, my dog was about 2 years old. He was a rescue dog and we absolutely loved him. He never hit or used aggression with him ever. He was loyal and protected his home. We noticed he became more and more aggressive the older he got. We put him through training and constantly socialized him. However, he was always on the edge if we had company. He seemed okay with adults, but he was overly protective around children. We always kept him locked up and slowly introduced him to people when they came over. He seemed okay for about a year with no issues. Nonetheless, we still exercised with caution. My niece came to visit and we went through the same routine. He seemed fine and we kept an eye on him the entire time, no issues. He even seemed to follow her and lick her. They truly seemed to bond. As we relaxed and let our guard down, he randomly nipped her in the waist. If he'd bit harder, it would have positively broke skin and she'd have been bleeding. I took him for a ride down to the river and I put him down with one bullet to the back of the head. I didn't cry, neither did my wife or kids. I know we could have rehomed the dog, but in our state, the original owner of the dog is still legally responsible if it attacks again. I did a lot of research on this, and it was highly likely going to be put down at a kill shelter if I told them he'd bit someone. I'm not proud. I feel like I failed as a dog owner, but I also feel like he had some kind of mental condition that we simply couldn't train out of him. As such, I put him down myself. He felt no pain, but it still hurts inside. Personally, I feel like I did the morally correct thing, but I also feel that maybe we could have fixed him, but at what risk?
Oh my goodness, what the fuck?
I was hoping that was going to be a bit of a clickbait and it was going to be
not so serious. I find it interesting that he even mentioned neither my wife and I cried. Like, not that that's the most important thing, but I'm like, are you a psychopath? Like, how do you not cry when you have to shoot your own dog?
Yeah.
And I understand somewhat why he did what he did. I just think it was a very rash decision. The dog didn't even break skin. Obviously, we don't have any of the details of what had happened. I don't know if they were just playing and he kind of scraped her by the waist, or if it was was the child doing anything that he was like, oh, I'm uncomfortable and I'm telling you that in this way? Because just funny enough, 2 or 3 weeks ago, my sister-in-law was here with a 3-year-old and Lenny couldn't cope and he ear snapped at her. She was wearing like a tutu kind of skirt and he did go for the skirt. And I instantly put him in his crate and he was out for the rest of the day. But I know he isn't really good with kids. And can you imagine that incident? I would be like, all right, time for the bullet. I can't even picture that. Not because I'm like, obviously I love Lennox and it would break me apart, but that's just such a crazy jump to make.
Yeah, and I think obviously we don't have the full history. Obviously it's a very vague one, but I have many questions in the sense of how long was the niece staying? Like, was it a manageable thing that you could have actually just separated? Like, was it just a day thing? Because obviously there are dogs that aren't great around guests, but I guess it is hard if you've got a very social household where you have lots of people visiting all the time that your dog can't be away. But I also wonder, like, was she just like staying for like a couple of days and it's like a dog that you could probably just manage in and out of the crate? But then he does say that he has more issues, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he got more aggressive, we socialized. There's just a lot of things in that post that I'm like, I don't know about that. He got more aggressive as he got older, which happens to a lot of dogs, which isn't actually aggression. It's just, hey, I don't like this anymore because I'm not a puppy.
Yeah, more selective.
Right? So there's that. There could also be a case of pain Is dog in pain? Did you get the dog even vet checked before you did
No,
that?
because he shot the dog.
Yes.
So I think if he had vetted the dog, the vet would have. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, well, if I rehomed this dog, he would have gone to a kill shelter. Well, you could have also just brought him to the vet and get him euthanized.
Yeah.
I mean, the dog won't know any other way, like getting shot, or I just can't imagine
that's
shooting your own dog over going to the vet. Do you think it's a money issue? Because that was free, obviously.
Or it's a judgment thing, like how people say I'm taking my dogs to the vet for behaviour euthanasia, and then they go, oh no, how there's a bit of stigma. I don't know, but he said he didn't cry or anything, so I really don't know what this whole situation going on.
Do you think maybe he didn't want to go to the vet because the vet would have said this isn't a euthanasia, this is not bad enough to euthanize your dog for?
That's what I mean. How some vets are just this isn't a severe enough. Yeah, who knows? And also my other question is, how old was the niece? Was the niece actually an adult? Was the niece a child? And the other thing they said in there is, we've done training. There's people that say they've done training, but they haven't actually gotten a professional in. So have you actually gotten a professional in to assess what's going on? Maybe you reading body cues, exactly. Was the dog saying he was
he even licked her, but licking doesn't necessarily mean, oh cute, he gave her a kiss. That could have been the first sign of stress.
Yeah, appeasing behaviour or anything. Missed. Yeah.
And now I don't know, even to go with a dog that has clearly got aggression issues, and you already have all these things in place, and to then say, oh, it was going really well, so we kind of let the dog
let your guard down. Yeah.
It's why would you let your guard down when there's kids involved?
And the other thing, the only other last thing I had a question about was, obviously they said, oh, they bonded really well and they were really saying to get close. I'm or was the niece pushing on your dog and you weren't reading the signal and the dog had enough? I don't know.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
There's a lot of question marks here, but I mean, you shared it on Reddit without any additional information, so that makes it public for us to speculate, I suppose.
Yeah.
But that is just, I couldn't imagine. I think there's a lot of people that have severely reactive dogs that should probably make this decision, and they don't.
Yeah.
There's people that have 13 bites on a dog, and they get bitten all the time by themselves, and even they don't make this decision.
Yeah.
I've got people with stitches, one that almost got bit in the face. Yes, that dog got put down because that was serious. But to decide to euthanize your dog over a nip that didn't even break skin seems very drastic.
And my other thing is, so I've got a similar thing with my dog. So she gets very overexcited by babies because she's got some herding breeds in her, so she would tend to nip. So when our nephew comes over, she goes away in the crate. Their guests just coming to visit, so I will put management in place that I'm not setting her up. And I kind of view, well, if my dog can't be around guests, I will just manage that my dog doesn't interact with the guests.
Exactly.
Because this is her home.
With Lennox.
Yeah, and this is her home, you know. So the temporary visits of people, when I could just manage my dog, I feel like that's fairer than, well, I've got a temporary visit of one person. Again, I don't know, they might have this person's come to live with them, or they might have people over all the time and it's too overwhelming for their dog. But a temporary visit for one person, I feel like I could make I could make management for my dog.
It sounds to me they were just tired of dealing with all these issues. Yeah. They were like, oh, this is a good excuse. Let's just put the dog down. Now we don't have to deal with all this. I didn't even cry about it, guys. Such a tough guy.
And maybe that's an emotionally shut off person from struggling with your dog. I don't know. But anyway, even if you were, I feel like you'd be upset about having to put your dog down anyway. I'd never be not upset. Even if I had a difficult dog, I had to behaviourally euthanize, I would still be very upset that I had to do it.
Can't even think about it.
I know. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good one. That was pretty bizarre.
Yeah, definitely not what I thought it was gonna be.
No, for sure. Alright, after that one, that was pretty heavy. Let's go on a slightly lighter note. This one is a dog training question, not an AITAH. And it's puppy new to park with leashed and unleashed dog, someone asking for help. And it says, hi, my 3-month-old Labradoodle is ready for his first dog park meeting. Unfortunately, our dog park is really a baseball park used by dogs in the evening. There isn't a fenced area, yet most dogs are off leash since they're well behaved. I must keep my pup on a leash, and he's not yet to be trusted not to run away. I've read that it's not good to leash your dog near unleashed dogs. What do you suggest I do?
Well, I think it's really good that she's asking questions already, and I think she's already got some kind of like, well, I'm not going to let my puppy off leash.
Thank God.
Thank God. First off, don't go to the dog park with your, like, whether the puppy's off lead or on lead. I don't recommend that. Like, we've talked about socialization quite a few times.
Yeah, I think if your puppy is 3 months old and it's celebrating, my dog is now old enough and ready for the dog park. I don't think any dog is ready for the dog park.
No.
It's just, if this is the first time for your pup to be around other dogs and playing, going at a busy time when there's loads of other dogs off leash, it's gonna be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Especially with your puppy on leash. It can't get away. It's gonna be like a magnet. Don't you feel like that's the case? If you have the on-leash dog in an area with lots of off-leash dogs,
they swarm.
Exactly.
And that's very traumatizing for a puppy as well. And then you get other issues come up with that. I think, like I said, if we've had this discussion where people think taking your puppy to the park, letting them play, is the correct way to go about it. But what this lady really needs to start really researching is like, what is the right socialization? If she does this and lets her puppy go into the park, she's opening it up to be attacked by other dogs, be bullied, and we don't know anything about this puppy either.
Or it goes well, but he just learns a lot of bad manners.
Exactly. It's a labradoodle. Lots of labradoodles, I like to call them tutti fruities, because they're big
Space
about
cadets?
they're space cadets, and most of the time they have way too much confidence. Like, they're great family dogs. They can be great family dogs because they're very happy and everything, but then that also has its issue that everything's amazing.
Yeah.
And then they get themselves in trouble as well because they...
Well, it's the Labrador side of them, right?
Yeah.
It's the whole, I'm so friendly. It's either that or they just... I feel like a lot of them learn to play keep away.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's such a labradoodle thing for me. Like, you take your dog to the park, he's having so much fun playing, you try to get him back, and he's like, fuck no, I'm having heaps of fun. And for some reason, every time I talk to someone that this happens to, it's like a doodle.
Oh, yeah. It's the game like, try and catch me if you want, but I'm going to go play with my friends.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So...
I think this is a good opportunity, again, to talk about socialization is more than playing with 15 dogs at once.
Yeah.
I always like that. That's like a mosh pit, or if you enjoy it, it's a big party, a rave, a festival. How many of us, you listeners, go to a festival every day?
I was already going to say that would burn me out within a day.
There's this festival in February that we go to. It's like 2 days in a row. It's amazing. And then it takes me a week to recover from that.
Yeah.
Right? But we for some reason we forget, or not we, people forget, that is not like the only way to socialize your dog.
No. Yeah. But even if you think about you going to a festival, right? You're not going up and running to every person that you don't know going hi.
Not.
That would be, you're going to have your own inner circle. It's just like when we go out and about, we have our own friends that we know and we like to hang out with. But everyone else is a little bit irrelevant.
Yeah, you will probably say hi to people and you end up talking to them in a line for the bar or whatever, like the toilets for the females. We always make friends in the toilets. But those are exceptions to the rule. Like, look at us now. We sit here, 2 of us, and we're having a conversation. Would this not be socializing?
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, I don't know about you, but one of our routines after a work day or whatever, so we both sit on the couch and we're scrolling our phones.
You're not interacting.
We're not interacting, but we are, because then you send like a meme and you both laugh. We are socializing. It is very low effort. It is very low energy, but we're still socializing. And people need to put more work in that with their dogs.
I have a client that I'm going to be working with soon, and I asked, because the dog struggles with recall and it barks at other dogs. So I asked, like, what kind of socialization have you done? They're like, oh, we've gone to the dog park. And I said, oh, and like, is it like, have you really let your dog off lead? They said, no, because we don't trust her. I was like, well, that's good. Like, you haven't let your dog practice running away like this lady is already doing. Like, I shouldn't let my dog off. And I said, what about like on the street? Like, what do you do? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll go up to like lots of different dogs, and sometimes it's a negative interaction. So I'm like, okay, so what you've taught your dog is that, and this dog wants to socialize with other dogs, is that every dog is at access, and you can play with every dog, and it's over rousing, it's over exciting. So you've just taught your dog to do that. So then whenever they see a dog and they can't get to a dog, it's really frustrating, and then they yell and they kick off and everything. And so I said, what we need to start focusing on is making dogs neutral, that they, you have your own inner circle of dog friends that like you have friends that have dogs. Your dog doesn't need to socialise with every dog that they meet. You can just walk along the street and not meet and just walk. And they're like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. I'm like, no, it's not weird. It's just like, I said, like, if you didn't know me and we walked along the street, would you just run up and yell hi at me? Like, would you run up to me?
It's fucking weird.
No, it's weird. Same with people. Like, she gets really excited by people. And I said, well, if you have a child and you're walking along, would you just let like a random person come up and say hello to your child and like touch your child? No, that's weird. I'm like, exact same thing.
Exactly. And then there's that. Reduce the access. Reduce the hope of every person as a reward moment. And work on just hanging out together without high energy.
Yeah.
I think that's such an important one. Like, it doesn't all need to be explosive and excited and, oh, they came home naked. Like, for example, my pack walks, they're on leash. Do you think I'm going to let the dogs have zoomies whilst I'm attached to them?
No.
No, it's literally this. We are going for a walk all together. Let's go.
And let me guess, they're not actually really interacting with each other. They're just like walking, right? Walking. They might like sniff or something, but they're on a mission, right?
The whole time they're in the car, they're socializing, but they're doing it calmly. They're all just sitting in the car waiting until we get to our destination. That is socializing.
They're not necessarily interacting with each
other. No, I don't want them playing in the car.
But they're together, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they're communicating in a way that we're not aware of. They're not just sitting there mute. They're still smelling each other and looking at each other and checking each other out and giving each other a lick on the face. I don't know. That is also socializing. Or make it a habit that when you go and see a friend, instead of like, okay, unclip the dogs the moment they see each other, let's go for 15-minute walks where the dogs have to ignore each other first. And then at the end, okay, now you guys can play for a bit.
And notice the difference between the explosion as well. Like that initial, like if you just let your dogs off and they like...
Exactly. And then after 15 minutes, stop the play.
Put
them on a leash and have them just lie at your feet. Both of them. Just lie down and go to sleep. That is still socializing.
You're teaching them to switch off.
Exactly. And then, they do a half-hour nap and say, okay, cool, go back to playing again.
Yeah.
And you repeat that instead of, I come to people's houses and they're like, oh yeah, we've got a friend's dogs, and when we go visit, they have so much fun. They play for 6 hours straight, but it's really stressful for us when we're having a barbecue with the kids around. Like, yeah, but your dog isn't going to stop.
No.
If you don't teach them, I can be around dogs and it's not crazy time.
And my other thing going off that is, if you see your friends not just for barbecues, why don't you just leave your dog at home if it's for 6 hours where you just want to relax and hang out with your friends? Why do you need to bring your dog? Like, if it's
then we
stressful,
go into the slippery slope. My dog doesn't know how to be on its own because I bring him to dog daycare every time I need to leave.
No. It's just like, teach your dog to do nothing. Yeah. I think it's like, and I think actually one other thing is, if you have a dog, because with this dog, it has access to people all the time, it sleeps with them, and it jumps up and it like can get in your face. I said, the other thing you need to do is make yourself less accessible to your dog at home and stuff, and really start putting an effort into when you are socialized, like it's a bit more on your terms. Because if your dog just has complete access to you all the time, when you go out, they're like, well, I can get you whenever I want.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're also putting in, well, you can go to every dog that you want. They're just like, oh, this is just the best.
When you're outside, you just become the thing that holds the lead.
Yeah.
You lose all the value. You're just the anchor.
Yeah.
That's all. And everything else is like, oh, more interesting because when we're home, I have you anyway. So what's the fun about you now?
Yeah.
I have a client at the moment that is doing my group class, and she has 3 spaniels, and they're all conservation dogs. And the only reason she's in my group class is to prove the new puppy under high distractions.
Yeah.
And she has this rule: when we go for a walk, 80% of the time we're walking, but there's always 20% of obedience. And I think that's a really important one that a lot of people don't do. You go outside and it's the whole, safari time. And that's it. We don't ask a dog to sit or to wait or to touch my hand or to look or to do a place or a downstay. We don't use that on our daily walk, so they don't realize, when we're outside, I still listen. But then we do expect it from the dog when we go to a friend's house at a barbecue.
But
and
you
they're
never
like,
practice it
I've never
anywhere.
done this besides the garage or the living room. What do you mean I do this somewhere else?
Or they get frustrated because they've never done it with their dog, and then they go somewhere and their dog
can't
do it, and they're like, I need to do this. But
he knows sit. Yeah, he knows sit in your living room.
But not outside where there's like 10 other people.
Exactly. So, don't know how we ended up there from socializing the puppy at the dog park.
No.
But I think it was an important conversation to be had.
Definitely, for sure.
I would love to know, what do you do with your dog for socializing? What's your favorite socializing activity? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.